Speaker. My question is for the Acting Premier. Acting Premier, on Monday night, the Council of the Township of Clearview voted unanimously in favour of asking Premier McGuinty and his government to put a moratorium on new wind developments. 50 other communities in Ontario have done the same, including Grey County, the City of Kawartha Lakes, and in the Acting Premier's riding in Prince Edward County. And so I ask the Acting Premier, will the McGuinty Government respect the decisions of these local councils?
Acting Premier.
Minister of Energy and Infrastructure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
the member from Lanark, your own member asked a question. I trust you would all want to hear the response. Minister?
Mr. Speaker, we recognize that whenever you're doing anything that's new, whenever you're on the cutting edge, Mr. Speaker, on any initiatives, in particular in the energy sector, Mr. Speaker, there is inevitably going to be some resistance. The fact of the matter is, Mr. Speaker, we have to move forward in the green energy sector. We know that the opposition don't support that, but, Mr. Speaker, it does take a certain amount of intestinal fortitude to move forward on these issues. It does take courage, Mr. Speaker. That's what the people...
It was just then. No, I'm not stopping the clock. Minister.
When we came to office 6 years ago, we inherited an energy supply that was very reliant on dirty coal. Coal, Mr. Speaker, that was polluting our air. Coal, Mr. Speaker, that was impacting our health and the health of our children, and in the future the health of our grandchildren. Mr. Speaker, changing that, getting rid of coal, is not for the faint of heart. We recognize that. It takes courage, it takes political courage, it takes courage from the people of Ontario. The opposition lacked that, Mr. Speaker. That's right. We don't. We're moving forward because we have to.
Thank you. Supplementary.
I say to the Acting Premier, Speaker, that you may not want to respond and be accountable to my constituents and 50 other communities, but you should at least respond to the constituents in Prince Edward County in your own riding. I say to the Acting Premier also that this is exactly why we voted against your failed Green Energy Act. Ratepayers are concerned with the health effects of these wind turbines, and you're telling them, tough luck. These communities have had enough of the Premier and his buddies and the political elite forcing their pet projects onto the backyards of people in rural Ontario without any say from the local community. In Clearview, people are sick and tired of the Premier, who lives in the Tony neighbourhood of Rosedale, telling them how to run their rural community. And so I ask the Acting Premier, what gives your government the right to ignore voters in rural and small-town Ontario?
Mr. Speaker, let me tell you this. Farmers across this province are extremely supportive of the Green Energy Act, and I'll tell you why. They're an important part of it, Mr. Speaker. They know that our generation has to stand up to ensure that the health of our kids and grandkids are looked after, to ensure that we're applying a reliable and safer form of energy for the sake of our energy supply, for the sake of our kids. Mr. Speaker, our farmers are standing up to that call. So are our retailers, so are our residents, Mr. Speaker. This green energy movement is something that each and every Ontarian is part of. Each and every Ontarian can take some pride in. We are moving from coal. By 2014, Mr. Speaker, we will be out of coal. We have the lowest level of coal output that we've had in this province in 45 years. The beneficiary of that, Mr. Speaker, is the pollution that doesn't go into our air, and, Mr. Speaker, the lungs of our—
Thank you.